Welcome back from that break. My name is Eddie Okela, and this is the CEO Bench. In the studio is an eminent engineer, a female engineer who has defied the odds in the male-dominated space. She's the queen of the oil and gas sector in Africa, at least among the top 100, top 50, and has won many awards. Elizabeth Rogo, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Change. We broke up from the change. Is change good?
Change is not for everybody. It's like asking a snail to change into a lion. And that's something I had to learn as well. I always felt that everybody needs to change. I think I now see that everyone reaches their own plateau, and there's nothing wrong with that. As somebody said, you can't all be chiefs. I don't know if it's politically correct to say, but you can be Indians. There are many Indians and one chief. You know, these days we've got to be politically correct.
Correct, yes.
But that, to me, as much as it may sound very mundane, actually says a lot. And people, people accept change in different ways. It depends on your personality, your experience, your wants. Somebody may be happy at level 1 for the rest of their life. Accept it, as long as they're good at level 1. And there are those of us who are always looking. So I think change is a very individual thing. But I always think it's good that we are able to step out and challenge yourself. I teach that to my young engineers. Do not be afraid to challenge. I think it's I get bored when I have to do the same thing over and over.
Wow. Elizabeth, being the CEO, the journey of being the CEO of your own, we often joked, are you Chief Everything Officer of Savo Oilfields Services Limited? Or what does it mean to be a CEO, and what is really Savo Oilfields about, the company you founded?
Yes, you're a chief everything, especially when you start. You're a chief everything. Now, I'm a small company, but I think like an elephant. That's why I chose the name Savo. As the famous Savo National Park of Kenya, it's full of elephants, and that's one animal I love. It's big, but stealth. If you ever come close to an elephant, you'll never hear it thump, thump, thump. It's a very stealth and very intelligent with long memory. So that was kind of the influence of the name Savo Oilfield Services. Now that I think about it, and I had thought about it, I thought I was defining or putting boundaries, because we have reached a time where everything now is energies. And so we're also moving into that, maybe not in name, but in practice, and we'll discuss that a little bit. But it's a big responsibility. As you know, I tell somebody doing consultancy, which is really what we're a technical consultancy firm, and it's feast or famine. So you have to really put the hard work. And at the beginning was extremely hard, especially where 90% of your work comes out of tenders. And tendering in East Africa is a very unique space. these large oil companies come here, I'm large, but they can't do one tender. You understand?
Yes.
It is an art.
Yeah.
And not only that, being able to tender, win, and do the work professionally without having to resort to what we call chini.
For sometimes you need Jesus to come back immediately.
No, Jesus is there.
You need him to come back immediately, because if he's not there, I know what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think for me, what I do, it's a joy for me. Yeah. I think that's also very important. Find something that you like. It's tough, and I'm always learning. I read a lot. In fact, I run, I don't know if you want to call it a blog, I run an energy news, and it's free for my small circle of friends. 3-4 o'clock in the morning, I'm posting, and they're like, when do you ever get to sleep? Because I'm just imbibing. I want what's out there, what are the trends, what do I need to look for? And I think it's really more important for somebody like me. My company also does strategic collaborations, So I've got to be able to sit across the table with a company that's worth billions more than me, and be able to show them that I know what I'm talking about. I have to have that confidence, because if you've come to me, there's a reason why you've come to me. If you could do what you wanted to do, I would not be there. Okay. I guess it's just being patient. There are times I won't lie. There are times I thought, let me just get back to corporate America.
When things
working,
get tough.
yes,
this working, business
especially
is not
this working in Africa or East Africa can be very tough. Different mindsets, different whatever. You know, my nickname is the American, because they say sometimes I'm just too straight, too straight and narrow. You know what I mean? Yes. So just different mindsets. But it has also taught me, I've had to learn how to work in different cultures, which I thought I already knew. But coming back home, there's more pressure when you're working in your own home country, and everybody's kind of watching you. And as you know, when I set up my company in 2015, I was the first female first woman rather, in East Africa to open an oil field service company. Wow. So I'm told. So there's a lot of pressure there. But more so, bringing in people, and these are young engineers who really, besides textbook, really have no idea what is out there. So I have created a very good graduate internship program. It's renowned. I even had a few Ugandans coming to me that have heard about it and they'd like to come. And I'm very proud about that program, because it's a way to educate the young engineers, and all types, not just petroleum. I have mining, I have electrical, people coming in. I'm going to start having a geologist coming in. So I grow with the projects, that are there. As I said, I'm very, very Kali. How do I say Kali in English? Very strict. I'm very strict with my team, because I want them to be the best. I tell them that I was very fortunate that I was able to go to school abroad and be able to pick up some very unique skills. And I want to impart those skills, and I want to also impart the culture that comes with those skills, so that you are able to work anywhere. And I'm really, really proud of the number of, especially women. The women are just doing fantastic. I have to say that. The number of these young women who have gone out after being with me for maybe 2 years for further studies have done very well and are doing very well. I just had one who's gone to Poland on I think it was UNESCO grant. I had another one who is a mechanical engineer and won an award for youth, and she was top 8. And I was so proud to see that her time in Savo is what enabled her to do whatever she did to get this award. So without sounding too immodest, I feel I've really impacted, and I continue to impact a lot of these young ones. But I also expect them to do the same. So in my company, we're very teamwork oriented. We work on very high level work. We also work on mundane stuff, because not everything is always high octane. And I teach them to be a leader in whatever they're doing. I always say you're a leader. Always imagine if this was your company. What would you expect of yourself and people around you, And I think that is how we've succeeded. Where have we also succeeded? We have shown that a woman-founded company can do some strong technical things. So I've gone into power, I've gone into geothermal itself, and the drilling side, the power side, wind farm. And we had done one repair with a large electrical company. I won't name them, okay? Out in Gong Hills. Again, the men were shocked. They were seeing these women coming in, and they were like, "Are you sure you people are in the right place?" We're like, "Yes, we've come to bring whatever we're bringing for them." Yes. We managed to fix their wind farm, the wind turbines, and it was just amazing to see these turbines running because of the work that we did. We just recently brought in some huge valves for one of the power stations. Again, the guys, they clapped. They said, not only are you a woman company, but you're a Kenyan company doing the work that you're doing with such professionalism, they're very, very excited. And they know whenever they call me, if they need anything done, they know that we'll always deliver. That is one thing we're known for. We'll deliver. And we keep challenging ourselves. So we're now looking at more high-level consultancy. Again, this involves bringing people from outside and forming consortiums, which I love to do. That's something in me. I love bringing teams together and challenging them. And I think I'm a good ambassador for people that are out there that are normally scared of, oh, this is Africa. Do you guys have good ethics? I get very irritated when I hear that. I really, I said good ethics is not something that is just for the West. Yes. We also have good ethics here. Do you have good ethics yourselves? You understand? Yes. It's a two-way street, you know. But Africa and East Africa, let's just talk about East Africa in particular. East Africa is an exciting environment, not just oil and gas. The renewables that are here, particularly geothermal. As you know, Kenya, we're number 7 right now, and will soon be number 4 in the world with these projects that are coming on. In geothermal, yes. Within the geothermal environment, yes, oil and gas plays a big role, and the technology from oil and gas. Unfortunately, a lot of people hear the bad side of oil and gas. They hear the spills in the Niger Delta or the deep horizon in the Gulf of Mexico. But they don't realize that this is an environment that has very, very high safety standards. And these are the standards and the procedures and the principles that we want to bring into other energies. So as Salvo, we have transitioned into energies. It's just that we haven't said it. But I'm bringing out a new brand. And I might as well say it now. Salvo Energies is coming on. But oil field services really is the foundation of who we are.
Okay. Elizabeth, that brings me to a point where your mentees are beginning to win an award. You have been able to place awards, not necessarily you placing it, but being recognized for the work that you have done. Would you like to share this a little bit? 50, top 50, top 100?
Yes, top 50.
You know, what does it make you feel like, by the way?
I'm very proud and very, very honored. I don't take it for granted. And just to see your peers celebrate you. I'll say the top 50 that was done by Africa Oil together with Lean In last year in Johannesburg. These are 50 women in the energy sector. So we all went down to actually Cape Town, I beg your pardon, to the Cape Town Africa Energy Week. And it was lovely to see a lot of women and a lot of younger women coming up. That's really was amazing. The 100, yes, there was another one, Africa 100. The one that is really special to me right now, the most recent one, was the one through SIPEC. And I think you were in Nigeria together. Yes. It's called the Winning Women Award. Winning Women in Energy. Yes. You saw my face. I was completely surprised. And everybody was asking me, but why are you surprised? Again, I don't take it that I'm going to be winning everything, because there's so many other women that are out there. But really what humbles me, and I think you saw in my speech yesterday at Africa, at the Uganda...
The 8th International Oil and Gas Summit.
Yes. When I made my last closing remark, and I said how humbled I am and about being in this sector and knowing that you're bringing change. And I gave you an example of where just recently with 6 engineers who knew nothing about rigs, and with the kind collaboration that I had with one of the geothermal companies, geothermal development company specifically, we're able to do real life testing of drill bits in a complex wells, 2 complex wells. So my engineers were able to see firsthand, work with first class technology, and the work was superb. You understand? And from that, the company, the oil field service company, can now go to the world and say, this drill bit that has been used in oil and gas now has been used in geothermal from the work that Salvo Oilfield Services did in conjunction. And one of the things also, and I tell you, I'm not an agent. I hate that word.
Yes.
I'm not. That's not to say that I know everything.
Yeah.
But my stance is when somebody comes to me, I take a lead that whatever I'm bringing to the table has value, and I like to always take the lead. Even when I put teams together, I try and make it as possible where we take the lead or we co-lead. I never sit back because somebody is more, has more resources or whatever than me. To me, I find that's a way of climbing up quicker to where I need to get to. And also gaining respect of those that I work with. Lastly, I would say being an entrepreneur has allowed me to do a lot more things than if I was in a corporate setting. And yes, these awards are coming. I didn't go out there looking for the awards, but let them come because it's a way. For me, it's a marker. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was able to do this. What more do I need to do to get to where they come from? But honestly speaking, I have them lined up, and it's a reminder for me that I'm making an impact and that others are seeing it, and I don't take it for granted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, as we hasten to the close of our interview, appointment to the board, the one remarkable one was you going into the Kenya Power.
Yes.
And I read the articles when you went in there, and most recently I read the article being appointed into the Kenya National Oil Company, the equivalent of the UNOC of Uganda. What does it make you feel like? In fact, a journalist wrote a quote that I found very interesting. Says, Engineer Elizabeth Rogo has been appointed to the board of the Kenya Power, Kenya Oil Company Limited.
Yeah, that's NOC, what we call NOC.
Yes.
National Oil
National
Corporation.
Oil Company.
Yes,
Corporation. NOC. The NOC,
Yes,
as we talked about it yesterday.
Yes.
And he says that possibly with the wealth of knowledge and experience she's had, Kenya is headed to the realization of its dream in the oil and gas sector. I found that very profound.
And I know who wrote I know who said that. Another favorite person.
Yeah, so how does it make you feel like?
Again, like I said, that's those accolades that you get from your peers. Can I mention who said it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was NJ Ayuk, chairman of Africa Energy Chambers, of whom I'm very honored to be part of a very unique lobbying energy group. And he's one of many people who are making such impact about what Africa is. So yes, he was very excited when he heard that. I don't need to go through the stories of what NOC has been going through, but just watch this space.
Yes.
A new NOC is rising. And I think I need your audience to know the UNOC that you see here, of which I'm very proud of, especially led by Madam Proscovia Nabanja, and the head of exploration, Loida. How do you say her last name?
Loida Kichoncho.
Yes, I didn't want. Yes. The two fantastic women. They came and benchmarked, or UNOC, or what was then the beginning of UNOC, came and benchmarked against NOC. And look at where UNOC is. I stand by the sidelines clapping.
I could see during the stage, during the summit, and how excited you are when the women were speaking, and especially on the panel that you moderated that was quite very powerful on the first day of the summit.
Yes, the DEI panel. Yes. Now,
talking of the DEI panel, and of course, winding up with your experience at Kenya Power. The Kenya Power. Why did you leave Kenya Power? Okay,
so remember, it's an honor to be. You don't apply, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And this one was very unique. I was part of a group called the Transitional Board. We were mandated by the president, former president now, Uhuru Kenyatta, very brilliant gentleman or man, and we came in to try and sort out the mess. And I'd never sat on a board of that size, and the work that we had to do. I was surrounded by some amazing people. We made a lot of impact. Kenya Power made money. On top of that, I was also part of the the group, the presidential task force, that look at the renegotiation and the implementation of these IPPs. Very, very difficult. You're trying to unlock. You're trying to unlock contracts.
It's a hard place where people have cut their things and they're holding it hard. Yeah.
Let me tell you something, Eddie.
Yeah.
I thought oil and gas was tough. Power.
Yes.
Power. Cartels. That's where there's a cartel. But it was a brilliant opportunity for me to understand how boards work. Yeah. Okay, and Kenya Power, besides its problems, is a blue chip company. Then I was then moved to NOC, and I was told why they moved me to NOC was because of my experience. And I'm sitting on the board as the only person with oil and gas energies experience. So very proud about that, and we have a fantastic chairman who's our former Minister of Energy, Chairman Kiraitu Murungi. And we are now in a time where, and I think it's public knowledge, so I can say it, where NOC is now going to be split into 3 sections: upstream, downstream, and midstream. So I was very honored when he asked me to become an ad hoc chair as we look at forming what we call the new upstream energies.
Wow.
Energies. So every energy has an upstream component to it. You understand?
Yes.
So as I said, watch this space. Watch this space, and I think there'll be some exciting news coming out of the Kenya scene. But let me just say one thing and I think my Nigerian sister, Patricia Hart, mentioned the number of women that we see in governmental positions as ministers and PSs here in Uganda. I shake my head. Amazing women who, and especially if I look at the energy sector, Honorable Ruth, you have a fantastic lady, as also PS Irene. And their last names I don't want to mess up. That's why I'm calling it.
Irene Bitete.
Yes, Bitete, yes. And I was
Irene Batebe.
Batebe, yes. And I was very honored when I heard that she heard I was coming to this session and moderating, and she was very positive about that. So I'm doing something good. Uganda is my second home, or an extension of my home.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say is that the ladies in Uganda, the women in Uganda, are a force to reckon with, and I think an example of other governments that we should be really bringing more women in. Yes.
Are you just speaking and saying that Kenya should have more women?
Definitely.
Technically, that's what you're saying.
Definitely, not even saying. But now it's also time.
Yes.
It's also time for, as much as I'm also speaking about women, I'm thinking of another area I'd like to go into. Politics.
Wow. Why would you want to go in politics when the oil and gas sector is... It can't, and the energies is at a point where they need more than a politician to be there. In fact, politicians have no space there.
Yeah, politicians can be different. I think we all politic in a different form. Yes. My politicking would still be very close to, I would hope, on the energy side, because I think there's a time where instead of criticizing, what can I bring to the table? That's another challenge for me. You understand?
So I want to know something from you, from the political point of view. I didn't see this one coming. This is a spin, though.
Yes,
and I want to see that as it's coming. But is this a motivation from your mother to say, she's gone, now let me fill in the shoes?
Yes, I would say that's part of it. And that's also part of the environment that I'm in. Yeah. You know what I mean? I have all this wealth, this experience, this energy. Yeah. So instead of sitting there and criticizing, which we as human beings tend to do.
In other words, let me be part of this, and you're going to power the politics.
Yes, let me be part of the solution. But so you're the first person to know it. Nobody in Kenya knows it.
So definitely, I would do an exclusive interview on Engineer Elizabeth, political thinking, and the next path going to that. I'm sure everyone in energy and in oil and gas is going to be super shocked to hear this. She didn't even mention it on the stage yesterday when we were talking. No. So it's very interesting. And Elizabeth, your final words, and I want you to summarize with your legacy. What legacy do you want to leave behind when you finally done? But more importantly, where do you see the future of oil and gas in East Africa? And you could knock it up with Uganda.
Yeah, no, the future of oil and gas, or the future of energies, we can start talking, it's here to stay. There's a lot from the mining, to the renewables, to the oil and gas. We are very lucky in this part of the world to be endowed God-given resources. My plea is that we utilize everything that's been given. I am very weary with these stories of where one energy form is now being, pushed to the front versus the other. I'm very proud to see that Uganda, despite what the world is telling them, is pushing on with their oil and gas and not being scared. Pushing on with their refinery, pushing on with their the ECOP, you understand? And doing what they need to do for Uganda, including now all these minerals that we're hearing, that you have, as well as anything to do with renewable. Utilize everything. And that's what I encourage. And I think Ellison Karuhanga summed it very well yesterday when he talked about sustainable development, what the difference was. I always say in any form, even renewables must be done sustainably. I think you well know in Congo, the artisans are busy mining cobalt. There's nothing sustainable about how it's being done. Absolutely. Okay? And it comes now back to us as Africans. So the legacy is that as an African, I went out, I came back, I brought knowledge, and I'm able to help in that fabric, in growing our community, in impacting my community, in being one of many lights to show that as Africans, we can, bring our own solutions to the table. But lastly, my real legacy is that I want to be known as she was a compassionate human being, because we don't take all these things with us. We don't take our certificates, our cars, our riches. All we take to the grave is our body. But I want somebody to look at me and say, in the end, she delivered, she was kind, and she lived a Christian lifestyle.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I want you to look into that camera, Elizabeth, and talk to these women and these girls you like to speak to. There is a girl somewhere there who doesn't know where to start from. She's most probably never going to be an engineer. She doesn't know where to start. You said you are privileged to have a mother who, besides the relationship and the marriage going separate ways, she was able to hold hands together, hold her heads up high, and still raise her children as a single mother at that point, and has turned out to be the best that has happened to you, has given you the future. What would you say to that girl?
What would I say to that girl is that within you, I believe God has given you the tools that you need. It's just a matter of finding. There's some spirituality in our journey. I don't think that can be taken away. Secondly, find that person, even if it's one individual that you can talk to. They may not necessarily be in the field that you're looking at, but they're doing stuff, they're moving ahead. How are they moving? Network. Now I'm talking about those in universities and stuff. Networking doesn't begin when you're in a job. Network starts even at university. Join organizations like SPE, Society of Petroleum Engineers, or the Geology, or any other association that can help build confidence in you. And read. I'm a big believer. Read as much as you can. And as a woman in particular, you need to be 120% better than most men. That's the truth. You need to be. So you need to be A1 in whatever it is that you're doing for a lot of people to take you seriously. Now, as I said, the younger ones are coming up. We're seeing more girls and more women. But jobs are, when we work in an environment, it's not just about girls. Yes, as much as I appeal to girls, I also appeal to men. I say you must all work together. And that sentiment that I give to girls, I also give to men. And can I tell you something? I'm actually giving it more to men than even the girls now. Yes. No, I'm telling you that. because there's especially what we call the boy child. I'm seeing there's this missing confidence in the boy child.
We push the agenda for long.
Correct. But we must not also see the fact that we are trying to raise girls as being discriminatory. Because the truth is, there was a time and space where girls are not, and are still not, being given that opportunity, okay? And also the way girls socialize, you understand? Or women socialize, or young ladies socialize. We socialize a little different. So it's people like us who can help guide them. And in their time and in their era, they'll be able to know how it is that they navigate. But in the end, be strong so that you're not a weak link in that chain that involves working together as a team that consists of men and women. And lastly, as Africans, as an African girl, there's so much you can do out there. You have seen people like Wangari Maathai, I think that's it, yeah, the Nobel Prize winner, the environmentalist. Tell us of some very strong Ugandans. I mentioned the Ugandan ministers, your first lady. I mean, there's so many, even in your own circles, your aunties, whatever, your sisters, brothers. Look for those women that have just pushed the boundaries, if that's what it is that you're looking for or you want. And most of all, look at the world as your oyster. You only have one shot in this world. So try and make the best of it and be happy with whatever it is. As I've said, there will always be people ahead of you. There will always be people richer than you, maybe better looking. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're happy. First, be happy, be grounded, know who you are. That is very important, Eddie. You must know who you are. You cannot be somebody who's swaying in the wind every time something comes. You must have a position and be able to take that position and be able to say no. Okay, be grounded. As I said, the world's your oyster. It is very important for those of us ahead of you to also look back to bring you up. And when we bring you up, don't misuse that opportunity. Don't mess it up for anybody else. And I'm talking to both young men and young women.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for coming to the CEO Bench today. It's been a great honor to host you, and we're definitely going to be coming to do an exclusive on this political journey.
And that we're going
this
to start.
pivot that you're going to start. We're going to get there and do this. So once again, asante sana.
Thank you very much.
And we're looking forward to, having you again, and we're wishing you the very best in your next step as far as politics is concerned, but more especially in the energy space. We thank God that we have you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. And to everybody out there, the CEO Bench has come to an end. From us, we want to say asante sana, kwaheri. Until next time, the CEO Bench has come to an end. Eddie Okila, Elizabeth Rogo.
Engineer.
Wait. Eddie Okila, the ordinary one, and engineer Elizabeth Rogo. The CEO Bench has come to an end. Until then, stay blessed.